father lies sleeping. I can only tell you what my father told me, that Ireland chooses her own kings and that all the battles ever fought, lost or won were for her sovereign name, Éireann, Éireann, Uisneach. And there at the foot of Conla's well in spring, I will drop a lock of your hair into the river and send you west out by Rathcrogan and Elphin, through the great plains of Moytura, down through Tulrahan's Cross and onto the foot of Patrick's Hill, where by his breastplate my father lies sleeping. Under the cloak of Bridget's moon, before the huntress blood turned red that night in late September, when you slipped out there from your bed into the great star-spinning sky, that night that we all cried, as if we could ever say goodbye. Like old friends, those stories turn to stone, those things we are not supposed to move alone that mark the passageways of our coming and our going. And who are we to mourn the passing of a life so fully lived, and still we would wish for a miracle or that we did not have to wake from such a precious dream. Yet it's fitting, it would seem, as my mother's hand in yours, long before we ever cradled your head in our defeat. Long before you ever knew the faces of the children that you dreamed, long before all the marathon miles ran, before the word came flesh, poem or song, before you ever raised your parting glass and said goodnight, before we ever knew the terror of your leaving. There were stories at bedtimes of heroes and high kings and names sung like lifelines, Éire, Éireann, Éireann. Irie Anish in Uisneach, at the wellspring of the still lake, where the hazel-fed salmon come home, where the mountains mirror mountains and the great screech birds cry echoes of the ocean's roar. I will bury you there at the breastplate of Niamh Táric, upon the mound of high kings, under the cloak of Bridget's moon, before the huntress blood turned red, that night in late September when you slipped out there from your bed into the great star-spinning sky, that night that we all cried, as if we could ever say goodbye.